How's it going, guys? So I hope you guys enjoyed the latest Tokyo Ghoul chapter. I know I reread that at least 2 to 3 times, chapter 116. I hope you guys have also gotten the chance to reread it as well. And that ending part, that last page with that cliffhanger of Kaneki and Almon about to have their fated conversation that we've been waiting since the end of part 1, I really can't wait for that to happen. But in my live reaction, I stated if I was actually going to be making an additional video, whether talking about Almon or Kaneki, or the greatest troll ever to exist within Tokyo Ghoul. And I'm talking about Souta, Nomura, Furuta, Washu. It's a long-ass name, but this character has been a mystery ever since his introduction as Souta, and then finding out the revelations that Nomura Furuta was in fact Souta the whole time, and then seeing his growth and just how conniving he was throughout the whole series, and to find out that he was actually the main antagonist of this series. Like, I have a list of just all of the things that this man has been a part of organization-wise within Tokyo Ghoul, and it's amazing that he's able to actually be a part of all of these events, all of these organizations, and how no one was able to find out that Nomura Furuta was doing all this. Like, so the list goes on. Like, he was the main antagonist this whole time. Like, finding out that he was responsible for dropping the steel beams on Rize is just amazing. It's like, you never would have expected it to actually be this person. But then also finding out that he has another persona, Souta, that popped up throughout all of part 1 occasionally, and we had like no idea who the hell this character was, and the fact that he is a part of the clown organization. He's also a member and a descendant of the Washu clan. Like, he's actually half human, and then eventually gets turned into a half ghoul thanks to Kano, and has Rize's Kagane in him. He has the same one as Kaneki. He's a part of V. He's a part of the Sunlit Garden. He's the current leader of the CCG. This man has been doing so much work throughout the series, and this man is basically the slut of Tokyo Ghoul. He gets in everywhere, and he makes sure that everyone has a piece of Souta or Furuta. It just astonishes me, and I would not be surprised too if he was a cafe waiter at Ri with Toka and Yomo. Like, this man is just a part of every organization, and just I could totally see him just like popping up there, and I would not be surprised in the slightest. I mean, look at this man in the latest chapter. Look at this face. This man is the biggest troll in the series, and I absolutely love it. So I thought it would be a fun video to make, just going through part 1 and Tokyo Ghoul Re, so going through Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul Re, looking at the panels and the chapters where either Souta or Furuta popped up, and then just seeing his development throughout this whole series, and just seeing his growth from being this side character that no one even suspected would have such a big role later on, to becoming now the current Washu King in Tokyo Ghoul Re. So I have a lot of pages up on a lot of chapters, so let's just get right into this, because the first time we actually get introduced to this persona of Souta is actually in chapter 37, which was a part of the gourmet arc and the ghoul restaurant. And this part, I mean, he shows up and you don't really suspect anything from this character later on in the series. He just seems like a background character that was just used to like fill up the space in the ghoul restaurant. And he was responsible for bringing that fat girl to the restaurant so everyone, you know, could feast on her after they like dismembered her and all that stuff. But the panel I have is up on page 15 of chapter 37 when he's like talking to the girl, and we actually get to see the personality of Souta within this panel, because he's looking at the fat girl, and the fat girl's yelling at him saying, "You lied to me, you said you would marry me," and he's basically talking down to her. It's just like, I would never marry you. I only like pretty girls. And he's like, oink oink to you too, babe. He's calling her a pig, and I just love the personality that comes off of this character, and you could just tell he doesn't give 2 shits about humans, and is just like part of the ghoul society. And you think that he's a ghoul in this situation, and it's just in this panel, in this chapter, you think that this is just a one and done character. You don't expect him to pop up again. But then when we actually move on into later arcs and we get to the end of the Aogiri Tree raid arc, you know, the end of Kaneki's torture and when he beats Jason and then does the 103 bones treatment to Ayato, he pops up again. And this time, he's talking with Nico. And it's actually interesting to see that Nico was actually a part of the clowns too, but within this conversation that they're having, they're talking about the One-Eyed King. And this is very interesting too, because later on, when we actually get introduced to Furuta, his whole mission within like Tokyo Ghoul Re, when we first get introduced to him, he's trying to figure out who the identity of the One-Eyed King is. And it even shows here that he was doing it here as well with Nico, asking Nico, "Do you know the identity of the One-Eyed King?" And Nico's basically saying, it's like, "I don't know." But then Nico whispers into his ear, but we don't get to actually hear what it was that Nico was able to say to Souta. But this is just an interesting thing because you didn't actually expect this character to show up again, and he did, and then in your mind you're just like, wait a minute, this has to be a major player within the series, and we just don't know what their main goal is for the end game of this series. So moving on from that, we actually don't see Souta for a little bit, but we actually get to see Numera Furuta for the first time in a little cameo in chapter 117. Now, this is very interesting too because just like Souta, you expect this to be a one and done character because Toka is right now at Kami University and she is like roaming around looking at all the buildings, how college way of life is, and Nishiki has run off and she is like thinking about Kaneki. She misses him, and it's at this part that she sees a person reading a book, and from the back it looks like Kaneki, you know, black-haired Kaneki, and Toka sees this and walks up to the stranger and says, "Excuse me," and then this person turns around and it turns out to be none other than Numera Furuta. Now, at the time, we did not have a name to this character. It was just a random bystander, a random college student that just happened to be reading a book at the same college that Kaneki went to, which I think is very interesting as well. But nothing really comes up of this. It's just a one page on page 13 of 117. Nothing really comes up of it, but it's just a random part. And I also was going through the Tokyo Ghoul wiki, and apparently the kanji, there's an ancient kanji translation for actually the title for this chapter, and it's called Furuta, which I think is very interesting. So it's very cool to see that Ishida had this character planned out from the beginning and then just started teasing us as the reader that this character, it's like, don't discourage him just yet. Like, this guy is going to be a major player going down the road, so be prepared because this guy's he's gonna be killing a whole bunch of people and you guys are going to fall in love with him. So I love that this is just a brief cameo of his character. But then we actually get to the end of Tokyo Ghoul Part 1. And this is where the revelations start to kick in. Because not only do we have the revelation in Chapter 140, when Kaneki is currently, you know, dying, and he's like going through his mind, thinking about past events, and he unlocks the memory of what happened that night on the end of Chapter 1, you know, with the accident with Rize and the steel beams, and he comes to realize that there was actually a clown standing up on top of the steel girders that dropped it down on both of them, and it turned out that it was actually Souta the clown that did this. And at this point, you're just like, how is it that this character that could have just been a side character showing up in the Ghoul restaurant actually is a major player within this series? And not only that, caused the event that caused the whole tragedy of Tokyo Ghoul to take place. And I think that is just very cool. And then you move on to chapter 143, and this is where you get the revelations that the clown organization, who is a part of it, we have Itori, we have Souta, Nico, and then we have Roma here, you know, getting tickled, and Uta. Now, this was like a cool revelation to get because they are basically thriving off the tragedy of the events of Tokyo Ghoul. And I just love that this revelation just shows the clown ghoul organization and who is a part of it. So this is just very cool. But this is all just within Tokyo Ghoul Part 1. There's about, 5 or 6 chapters that deal with Souta or the cameo with Furuta, and this basically ends, with Part 1 and until we get into Part 2 of Tokyo Ghoul Re. Now, I'm not going to go over every single detail of Furuta within Tokyo Ghoul Re, but I will just highlight a few key panels, and I do have a lot up here, and we'll probably just breeze through them a little bit, but there are some that I just want to talk about a little bit. And the first one is actually Tokyo Ghoul Re Chapter 33. This is when we get reintroduced to Furuta, that now we actually have a name to this character, and I'm not sure if when this chapter came out, it's like the last page of this chapter, and you see just this little tiny panel of Furuta, and he's like, the assistant to Kijima, and this character pops up, and I'm not sure if people actually went back and reread the chapters of Tokyo Ghoul and saw that this character popped up in there and made the connection. It's like, wait, this character popped up before. I'm sure there are people that have, because he does have a very distinct style and character design to him, but it was just very cool to see his introduction, and you do not see the personality that we see now within Furuta. This guy is a major troll and a major actor, and just being able to see how timid and soft-spoken he is when he first gets introduced, it's a grave contrast to what he is currently. So moving on, we get you see his character as it is, timid, very soft-spoken, and very nervous when in battle during the Tsukiyama raid arc. But then the revelation comes in chapter 50, and this was the part that made everyone go, wait, what the fuck is going on? How is this character be able to act acts so well, and no one probably expected this turn of events to happen on page 7 of chapter 50, because you have the Ghoul investigators, going in and they're about to block the attack, but Numera puts him as a shield in front of him, and this is when the revelation comes into place that he's been acting the whole time. And this is actually the true nature. We're actually getting to see Furuta's character bubble to the surface, and he ends up killing everyone in this scene, and he frames it all on the ghouls that are involved in here, and he frames it on them so that way he can escape scot-free with killing even the investigators and ghouls involved in this. It's crazy that this revelation happened in chapter 50, and just to see where his character has gone, it's just so cool and amazing. Like, Ishida's done an amazing job with Furuta, and then the whole revelations we got in chapter 66, moving on to that. This is where we got the confirmation that he was actually Souta the whole time in Tokyo Ghoul Part 1, when he's talking with Eto, talking about a whole bunch of stuff, saying how, like, becoming a clown, sneaking into the ghoul salon. This guy is just a good actor, and this revelation right here of him, posing as Souta is just really cool. I know a lot of people speculated on him, being the identity of Souta, and for those that did, you guys did a fantastic job, because I believe the hints were there. But it was just very cool that Ishida was able to drop that information on us on this chapter while he's talking with Eto, which is very cool. And then not really delving too much into this, but these I feel are just iconic Furuta moments, going through the chapters. You get into chapter 76, and right here you have the Nemu dash, the infamous, the famous Nemu dash when he's running away from Eto, but then also in chapter 82, the whole super peace sign. These two panels I think are just iconic Furuta, because you're just like, what is this nonsense? What tomfoolery is this character up to? Because he makes no sense whenever he does these type of stuff. He's just a character that is just like, he is the Joker incarnate of Tokyo Ghoul. Like, where Batman has the Joker, Tokyo Ghoul has Furuta, and his character is just batshit crazy. This character is, and I love him for it. So moving on from that, we have chapter 98. Now this is where the current events of Tokyo Ghoul have us right now, because with the help of Donato and Uta, Furuta has been able to take out Suniyoshi Washu, the chairman of the board of CCG, and now we have him declaring himself as the Washu King. And this is where his plan right now is to actually take control of the CCG and become the leader, and get rid of everyone in power, anyone that stands in his way of that power, and that being Matsuri. And of course, as we know in the latest chapter, Matsuri got cut to ribbons as he was stripping butt-ass naked for his love for Ure. Oh man, that character. So moving on from that, this one right here, chapter 101, the 101 Dalmatians, Furuta talking about doing Rize doggy style, saying that he wants Rize to bear her all these bunch of kids, and it wants to do it 101 Dalmatian style, and just the revelation that he was infatuated with his half-sister Rize, which is kind of fucked up in a way too, because it's like, you're still kind of related in a way, but I'm not sure if this is his endgame, because I have a feeling we don't really know what Furuta's endgame is. He's a very mysterious character. We know that he wants Rize in some sort of fashion, but we know that he also wants to do something with the CCG, because right now he's climbing the ladder to become the leader and be in charge of the CCG. But we don't know anything past that. We don't know his end game. We don't know what he plans to do with all this power that he's actually seeking out. And the only people standing in his way right now are Kaneki and his organization GOAT. And it's just like, what the hell is going on? Because right here, it's just like, I love these panels of Furuta. Like, Ishida does such a good job drawing Furuta, and I love the designs and stuff. But I think that right there just concludes the talk I want to have just on the growth of Furuta itself within this series, and just speculating on what the hell is Furuta's endgame within this series. What does he want to do with all this power that he's getting? And I actually have no ideas right now, so I'm just making this discussion video because I actually just wanted to talk about the history and the development of Furuta within the series, but I want to leave this up to you guys. Let's have a conversation down in the comments below just about what you guys thought about Furuta as he got introduced within the series. What did you think about the revelations when they came up, that Furuta was Souta, or that Furuta, was actually acting the whole time and wasn't this nervous and timid investigator, but actually was just this batshit crazy one? And where do you think that he goes right now in future arcs of Tokyo Ghoul, with him, you know, being the Washu King and having the only people up against him right now being Kaneki and the organization GOAT. So leave all your comments down below. I really want to know your guys' thoughts on Furuta overall as a character, this troll of a man. Oh man, Furuta, you were a doll, and I just love that Ishida has created this character for us to basically come week after week to see what type of faces, what type of expressions, and what type of batshit craziness we're going to be getting from this character. Absolutely love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, you know, discussing Furuta as a character, and I plan on doing more of these type videos with Tokyo Ghoul. So if you guys are fans of Tokyo Ghoul, subscribe to my channel and we can just like talk back and forth, because I love just talking with all of you fans of Tokyo Ghoul, because this is just an awesome series to talk about. It's got some great action, great character depth, and great characters overall. They may be batshit crazy, but we love them for it. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to the next chapter, chapter 117, coming out next week, because we're going to be getting a color page, a colored cover page next week, and I really hope that we delve more into the conversation we're going to be getting with Kaneki and Amon. So, like I said, guys, it's the end of this video. Leave your comments down below, and if anything I said in this video was like to your liking, if you liked what I had to discuss, give me a like, and I'll greatly appreciate it, guys. I look forward to talking with you guys, and until my next Tokyo Ghoul video, I'll talk with you guys then. Alright, guys, see you later.